Greetings, bibliophiles, and welcome back to the Well-Read Monocle. Today, we are stepping into a world that is both incredibly distant and hauntingly familiar. We are exploring The Shadow of the Torturer, the first volume in Gene Wolfe's seminal science fantasy tetralogy, The Book of the New Sun. Set on a far future Earth, now known as Urth, under a dying sun, this novel is a memoir written by a man named Severian. He possesses an eidetic memory, he forgets nothing, and he writes from the perspective of a man who has risen from the lowest caste of society to become the Autarch, the absolute ruler of the Commonwealth. However, this book concerns his youth. It is the story of his apprenticeship in the Guild of Torturers, his disgrace, his exile, and the beginning of a journey that will change the world. Let us begin with the setting and the protagonist's origins. Severian is an apprentice in the Order of the Seekers for Truth and Penitence, commonly known as the Torturers. They reside in the Matachin Tower, a rusting, ancient rocket ship that has stood dormant for millennia, now repurposed as a guild hall and prison within the decaying citadel of Nessus. The Torturers wear fuligin, a hue darker than black, and their duty is to inflict pain and death upon the enemies of the state. The narrative begins with a crucial memory from Severian's youth. While sneaking into the necropolis, the vast city of the dead, Severian saves the life of a high-ranking rebel named Vodalus. In gratitude, Vodalus gives the young apprentice a single gold coin. This moment implants a seed of rebellion in Severian, a secret loyalty to Vodalus that contradicts his loyalty to the guild. We see Severian's character develop through his interactions with those around him. He is solitary and observant. He befriends a three-legged dog named Triskel, nursing the creature back to health in the secret tunnels beneath the citadel. This act highlights a central contradiction in Severian's nature. He is a man trained to destroy, yet he possesses a capacity for mercy. However, the turning point of his life arrives in the form of a prisoner, the chatelaine Thecla. Thecla is a noblewoman, tall, beautiful, and intelligent, imprisoned for political reasons involving her sister and the rebel Vodalus. As an apprentice, Severian is not permitted to speak with clients, yet he breaks this rule. He falls deeply in love with her. Through their conversations and the books he smuggles to her cell, Thecla becomes his tutor, expanding his worldview beyond the grim walls of the torture chamber. When Thecla is eventually tortured by the guildmasters, Severian cannot bear her suffering. He commits the ultimate betrayal of his guild. He smuggles a knife into her cell, allowing her to commit suicide and escape further agony. By the laws of the guild, Severian should be executed for this. However, the head of the guild, Master Palamon, shows him mercy. Instead of death, Severian is elevated to the rank of journeyman, but is immediately exiled. He is dispatched to the distant northern city of Thrax to serve as its lictor, or executioner. Before he departs, Master Palamon gifts him a magnificent executioner's sword named Terminus Est. The blade contains a channel of liquid mercury, which shifts the weight to the tip when swung, adding tremendous force to the blow. Dressed in his fuligin cloak and carrying Terminus Est, Severian leaves the only home he has ever known. He steps out into the sprawling, chaotic metropolis of Nessus. This marks the beginning of the picaresque section of the novel, where Severian wanders the vast city, encountering a series of bizarre characters who will shape his destiny. His first major encounter is at an inn, where he is forced to share a room with a pair of traveling performers, the enormous, lumbering giant Bullanders, and his companion, the small, manipulative, and fiery-haired Dr. Talos. Shortly after, Severian wanders into a rag shop to purchase a mantle to cover his guild cloak. Here, he meets a pair of twins, a beautiful young woman named Agia and her brother Agilus. Agia is charming and seemingly helpful, but she immediately entangles Severian in a deadly game. Through a misunderstanding, orchestrated by the twins, Severian is challenged to a duel by a hipparch of the cavalry. Agia insists on guiding Severian to the Botanic Gardens, a massive glass structure preserving the flora of different ages and worlds. She claims they must go there to secure an avern, a poisonous plant used as a weapon in duels. The botanic gardens are a place of wonder and temporal distortion. While there, Severian falls into a dark body of water known as the Lake of Birds. Beneath the surface, he has a vision of giant women, but upon resurfacing, he drags a young woman out with him. Her name is Dorcas. She is dazed, confused, and possesses no memory of who she is or how she came to be in the lake. She clings to Severian for safety, and she becomes his companion. It is strongly implied that Dorcas may have been dead, resurrected by the strange events that are about to unfold. Agia, Dorcas, and Severian proceed to the sanguinary field for the duel. The duel is fought not with swords, but with the Avon plants. The combatants must hold the poisonous plant and pluck its dagger-like leaves to throw at one another. Severian faces the hipparch. He realizes too late that the man he is fighting is actually Agilus in disguise, and that the twins have orchestrated this entire event to kill him and steal his valuable sword, Terminus Est. During the combat, Severian is struck and nearly killed. However, he reaches into his sabretache and touches a glowing object he unknowingly acquired earlier in the day, a jewel he picked up by accident in the Cathedral of the Pellerines. This object is the claw of the Conciliator. It is a holy relic of immense power. When Severian touches the claw, a miraculous light bursts forth. Agilus is terrified and flees the arena, crashing into the crowd and causing chaos. Severian, inexplicably healed and saved from death, is left standing. The narrative moves quickly to the resolution of this betrayal. Agilus is captured by the city authorities. Because Severian is a torturer and executioner by trade, he is hired by the local chiliarch to perform the execution of the man who tried to murder him. In a grim closing of the circle, Severian beheads Agilus. Agia, witnessing the death of her twin brother, vows eternal vengeance against Severian. As the novel draws to a close, Severian prepares to leave Nessus. He is no longer alone. He is accompanied by Dorcas, who is slowly regaining her senses but remains a figure of tragic mystery. They reunite with the performers, Dr. Talos and Baldandas, and a dazzlingly beautiful woman named Jolenta. Together, this strange troupe approaches the great gate of the city. At the gate, they encounter a mechanical man named Jonas, adding yet another layer to the group's dynamic. As they pass through the massive wall that guards Nessus, Severian looks ahead to the dangers of the road to Thrax. The book concludes with Severian meditating on the road ahead. He carries with him the guilt of Thecla's death, the weight of Terminus Est, the mystery of the resurrected Dorcas, the undying hatred of Agia, and the stolen claw of the Conciliator, a relic he does not yet fully understand, but which has already begun to reshape his destiny. The shadow of the torturer is a dense tapestry of memory and symbolism. Gene Wolfe presents a world where the sun is dying and history has turned into legend. Severian is a complex protagonist. He is a torturer who shows mercy, a lover who brings death, and a man with a perfect memory who yet struggles to understand the truth of his own life. This concludes our summary of the first volume. It is a story of exile and identity, set against a background of a world waiting for a savior, or perhaps an executioner. Thank you for joining me on the Well-Read Monocle. I hope this journey into Urth has been illuminating. Until next time, keep reading.